Hi children, this is Sudhir Kumar. Today I am here with another topic, magnetic field due to solenoid. So many children will have a doubt what is a solenoid and what is a circular coil, what is an ideal solenoid. So let us come to the solenoid first. See, you have to take a non-conducting material like this. Okay, let me take this one as a non-conducting material. So on the non-conducting material, if you wind a wire like this is called solenoid. You have to pass the current, then you will be determining the magnetic field on the axis of a solenoid in this derivation now. What is a circular coil? See, if you put them all together like this as a bunch, this is called a circular coil. So this is a circular coil and this is a solenoid. So circular coil can have any radius, but generally in solenoids we will be taking smaller radius. So in solenoid again you have a two categories. We can say one is called ideal solenoid. See, in ideal solenoid, magnetic field on the axis will be uniform. That we will discuss later on. But in this solenoid, the magnetic field will be varying from point to point. The magnetic field at different points will be in different in magnitude. Maybe direction is same, but magnitude will be changing. Then such a solenoid cannot be taken as an ideal solenoid. So what is that we are going to do now? We have to determine the magnetic field at any point. We have to derive an expression to calculate the magnetic field on the axis of a solenoid. So before going to this, let us see the direction of the magnetic field. You know, if you have a circular conductor in which the current is flowing like this, then there will be a magnetic field at the center. So I would like to determine the magnetic field. Suppose I think you will be using right hand thumb rule. Now thumb indicates the direction of current. Thumb indicates, suppose the current is flowing like this in a conductor. Thumb indicates the direction of current. The four fingers is a magnetic field. So if you hold it here, so magnetic field will be coming out. Or if you hold it here, so the magnetic field will be coming out. So there is an outward magnetic field here. Outward means the field comes like this, the magnetic field. Or else you can also remember that if the current is in anti-clockwise direction, you will have an outward field. There is another method also, especially for circular conductors. What did you do in a right hand thumb rule? Thumb is indicating the direction of current and four fingers magnetic field. So current, field. Interchange these two for circular conductor. If I interchange these two, then this will become current and this will become magnetic field. You check now. So this is the direction of current. This will be the direction of magnetic field. Anyway, you must be able to give a direction of magnetic field. Suppose if you reverse this current, reverse the direction of current. Definitely magnetic field direction is also reversed. So apply our rules now. Original rule let us apply. See, this is a conductor I am holding. This is the direction of current. Then field will be inward. Field will be inward. Interchange and see. If you interchange, what happens? This will be the current and this is a magnetic field. Right. This is a current. So magnetic field will be inward. So the magnetic field will be now directed inward like this. You can also remember, if a current is in clockwise, you will have an inward magnetic field. And what is the magnitude? You have already studied. The magnetic field at the center is mu naught I by 2r for one turn. If you have n turns, okay, you will multiply by n. That is a magnetic field at the center of circular coil. But same circular coil now, because why am I revising? Because I want to calculate the magnetic field here. You have so many circular coils like this. Circular conductors, combination of circular conductors is nothing but a solenoid. That is why. Now, this magnetic field is at the center, you are saying. But if you want an axis, if you want the magnetic field on the axis, say for example, this is a circular conductor having current. I want magnetic field on the axis here, not at the center. This is at the center. So on the axis, I want the magnetic field. Then, if this is a circular conductor, on the axis, at a distance x, the magnetic field is given by this relation. This already I have done in a previous lecture. The proof of this magnetic field due to a circular conductor on the axis, we have done this derivation. I am going to use this relation to determine the magnetic field on the axis of a solenoid. So that is why I am using that relation. I have written that relation there. So let us come to the derivation now. So what am I going to do now? Due to a solenoid, the magnetic field on the axis at any point. This point can be here or here or here or here. Any point I want to determine the magnetic field. Some point I have taken. Okay. So here in this case, current is flowing like this. The current is coming out like this. So that is why dots are provided there. And the current goes like this and inside. So see, the wire is coming like this, isn't it? So the wire is coming out. The wire is coming out and it is going in. So that means the current is coming outward here and the current is going inward here. So current is flowing in, according to me, it is flowing in clockwise. So you can determine if this is the direction of current, magnetic field will be like this. See, that is why I have taken a magnetic field in this direction. That is the reason, right? And this diagram are same. So these are the wires, the currents coming out and currents going in. These terms I have not drawn, but you can understand they are also present. So what I do, how will I start my derivation? So I will be taking an elemental ring here. I will assume this solenoid is made up of so many rings. Rings means a bunch of circular conductors. So it is made up of so many rings. Like this. So one elemental circular conductor or elemental ring I am considering, whose thickness is dx. Of course, radius is r. And due to this elemental ring or due to this elemental circular conductor, the magnetic field at a distance x, let it be dB. That means this B axial now becomes a dB. So this is a circular conductor. So this is a circular conductors now. I have only one turn, but you have some few turns are there here. So some turns are there, okay? So at a distance x from center, the magnetic field is B. Here magnetic field is dB. So I will be using this relation to calculate this magnetic field dB due to this elemental ring now. Fine. Let me write this formula now and derive an expression for magnetic field on the axis. Okay. So I will write dB is equal to, this dB is equal to, let me write that formula. Mu naught I is current in one turn. But here few turns are there here. I'm not taking only one turn here. No, in this bunch, in the thickness dx, so a bunch of conductors, circular conductors will be coming like this. Like this. So when I am taking current here, only one turn you have taken, but there are so many turns. So I will take the current in this as I dash now. I dash is a current in this bunch. Okay. R square divided by 2 into R square plus X square whole to the power of 3 by 2. So this dB is a magnetic field due to this elemental ring which has some turns of wire, current carrying wires like this, and whose thickness is dx at a distance x. I am calculating magnetic field using this relation. So let us come to this now. You have determined magnetic field dB only due to this elemental ring, but I want magnetic field at this point due to this whole solenoid. Assuming that this solenoid is made up of so many elemental rings dx, 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 dx like this. Understand? So in order to find the total the magnetic field here due to the total solenoid, so I have to integrate dB. Why? So I can have an elemental ring here that will contribute a magnetic field here dB1. I'll take one more elemental ring that will contribute a magnetic field dB2. Another ring here, here. Each elemental ring contributes its magnetic field here as dB1, dB2, dB3, dB4, dB5, etc. Summing up of all these elemental magnetic fields due to these elements, that is dB1 plus dB2 plus dB3 plus dB4, etc. That is nothing but integral dB. So integral dB will give us a magnetic field at this point for me. Okay. So let us go to the in details of derivation now. First I will find I dash. Because I have to integrate dB, I make this expression suitable for integration. Because the x here, of course, this x is a variable, understand? But this point can be anywhere. I can take this point here. So when I am taking the position of this point, x will be changing, theta will be changing. Okay. But in terms of x, integration is a little bit difficult for me. So I want to go take this expression in terms of theta. So first let me write I dash first. I dash. So in order to write I dash, we will define a term known as number of turns per unit length. Suppose if this is a solenoid having the length L and it has a turns, total number of turns is capital N, then I define a term known as number of turns per unit length, small n. Please note down. Number of turns per unit length, that is given by total number of turns in the solenoid divided by the length of the solenoid. What is the meaning of this small n, number of turns per unit length? Suppose this solenoid is 10 centimeters, then in 1 centimeter how many turns are there? If the solenoid is, let us say, 10 centimeters, then in 1 centimeter how many turns are present? That is called number of turns per unit length. Tell me, if 1 centimeter, in 1 centimeter there are 10 turns, then in 2 centimeters, 10 into 2. In 3 centimeters, 10 into 3. What is this 10 and n value? N, number of turns per unit length. So therefore, if you want to calculate the number of turns, then I can multiply the number of turns with the length. Okay. So I want the number of turns here in the length dx now. Number of turns in the length dx. So number of turns in dx, okay, is equal to number of turns per unit length into length dx. Because in unit length I have n number of turns And therefore in the length dx, how many turns I'll have? N into dx. Now each turn has a current I. Each turn has a current I. Then what will be the total current here? That is called I dash. Therefore the I dash is equal to number of turns in this bunch, that is N into dx into current in each turn. So this is I dash. So if each turn is having current I, so in this elemental ring there are some turns, few turns are there, okay. In that few turns, how many turns are there means N into dx in this. Then what is this total current means? I dash N into dx into I. So this I dash is this now. Clear? Next. I said that I want to eliminate x here. I want to eliminate x. Of course, when you eliminate x, I have to eliminate dx also. I have to substitute this I dash here now. See what happens to this expression now. This is dB is equal to mu naught r square. I'll write I dash. I'll write later on. Okay, mu naught into r square divided by 2 into r square plus x square whole to the power of 3 by 2. Now I write I dash as N into dx into I write. So I got an expression for a magnetic field dB due to this elemental ring now. So in order to find this total field, magnetic field here due to this total solenoid, I told that I have to integrate dB. So while integrating, that x is not suitable for me, x dx, becoming complicated for integration. So I want to change this variable from x to theta, I said. So let us bring some relation in order to eliminate this x and dx, so that theta will come into the picture. Then the integration will become easy for us, and I'll explain that. So you have a right angle triangle here now. So this is the radius r. This is the radius r. This is the base x. So tan theta I will take. So tan theta is equal to r by x. Tan theta is equal to r by x. This implies x is equal to r cot theta. X is equal to r by tan theta, that is nothing but r cot theta. So now I will differentiate this on both sides. Differentiating on both sides. So dx is equal to r is constant. For cot theta, differentiation is minus cosec square theta into d theta. So differentiation is completed. So I have got the now dx. I can substitute. Next I want to substitute x square also. So let it squaring on both sides. Then x square is equal to r square cot square theta. So let me name this as equation 1. Let me name this as equation 2, equation 3, substituting equation 1, equation 2 and 3 in equation 1. This equation, the dB will be modified and it will be suitable for integration. So let us see what happens on substitution. I want to erase this part. Is it okay? Or else I'll erase this. This is not required, no? Fine. So let me substitute 2 and 3 in 1. So then dB becomes, dB is equal to, so from 1 comma 2 comma 3 I'll write. Okay, substituting 2 and 3 in 1. So let me substitute. So mu naught r square n I will not disturb. Mu naught r square n I won't disturb. I also I won't disturb. So but dx, I will write this. R into cosec square theta d theta. I write minus r into cosec square theta d theta. So everything divided by. So including dx I substituted now. X I will substitute as r square cos square theta. This is 2 into r square plus r square plus x square. X square means r square cot square theta. So this will be dB value. So I do one thing now. This dB is equal to See this, I can take this is whole to the power of 3 by 2 is there. Okay, whole to the power of 3 by 2. Shall I take r square common? When I take r square common here and r square to the power of 3 by 2, you have to consider. And in r square is taken common and applied whole to the power of 3 by 2, then 2 and that square will get cancelled. I'll be having r cube here now. So already one r square into r, there is one r cube, and suppose there is one minus is also here. So this is mu naught into r cube into ni into cosec square theta d theta. Everything divided by 2 into. I said that I will take r square common and apply to the power of 3 by 2, then I will get r cube. What is left out inside? 1 plus cot square theta to the power of 3 by 2. What is 1 plus cot square theta? Cosec square theta whole to the power of 3 by 2. So r cube is cancelled now. Then here this square and this gets cancelled. So I have cosec cube theta. So finally I am left with the dB is equal to mu naught ni by 2 into cosec square theta d theta by cosec theta whole cube. So 1 by cosec theta will be left out because cosec square theta and cosec cube theta you cancel, 1 by cosec theta is left out. So now this expression is suitable for integration. So let me write this, the final expression of dB here. So this dB is equal to, okay, mu naught ni by 2. Of course minus sign is there, mu naught ni by 2. So cosec square theta divided by cosec cube theta. So 1 by cosec theta. 1 by cosec theta is what? Sin theta into d theta. So this is an expression I got for only theta is there, x is eliminated. Now it is easy for integration. Now what are the limits? This is very important. See, I am determining the magnetic field dB due to this elemental ring. If I want the magnetic field at this point due to this total solenoid, there will be elemental rings here, dx, 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 dx. Each elemental ring will contribute to the magnetic field dB1, dB2, dB3, etc. I have to integrate the dB, then you will get the magnetic field I said. So I have to include all these elemental rings now. From here to here, I have to include all the elemental rings. So at this point, the magnetic field due to this all elemental rings means starting from here to here, I have to take. So you do one thing then. Join a line from here to this point like this. So let this is theta 1. Join a line from here to here like this. So let this is angle theta 2. So therefore here I am considering, I have to consider all these terms, right? So when I am considering all these terms, this theta starts from theta 1 and ends at theta 2, so that you have considered all the terms into the consideration to calculate the magnetic field at this point. Therefore theta 1, so angles are measured from the axis, from the axis angle is theta 1, and for this end, if you join a line to this end, then angle again from the axis is theta 2. So therefore you have considering from this end to this end, all the terms are considered. So the limits of integration will be theta 1 to theta 2, considering all these terms. So the magnetic field at this point due to this total solenoid will be integral theta 1 to theta 2 minus mu naught ni by 2, okay, into sin theta d theta. So this is a final expression for integration, so that you will get the answer now. Let us see what it is. Here mu naught is constant, n is constant, I is constant. So I will take that is out of integration. So minus mu naught ni by 2. Then I have integral sine theta d theta. That is nothing but minus cos theta. What are the limits from theta 1 to theta 2? Integration is completed. So minus into minus becomes plus. For only cos theta I have to apply the limits. Therefore the magnetic field at this point due to this total solenoid is mu naught ni by 2 into, so cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. So this is a final expression for the determination of the magnetic field on the axis of a solenoid which is non-ideal. This is a non-ideal solenoid. For a non-ideal solenoid, magnetic field will be changing from point to point. Yeah, this as you change the position of this point, theta 1 and theta 2 will change. When theta 1, theta 2 are changing, B is changing, no? So it is a non-ideal solenoid. Right. So let us just see more clearly. I'll eliminate all this and see what is theta 1 and theta 2. Let me eliminate all this now for you, so that how to apply this formula will be more clear to you. See, this is the axis of a solenoid. Very good. So this is a solenoid. Anywhere, here or here or here. So okay, here you want to determine magnetic field now. So what you have to do is that join a line to this one end and take this angle as theta 1. Join line to the other end. From the axis take the angle as theta 2. Then substitute the theta 1 and theta 2 here and get the magnetic field at this point. Okay, that is what you have to do. For example, let me just say, if this theta 1 is 30 degrees or say 45 degrees, I'll take 45 degrees. Say some problem is given like that. But instead of giving theta 2, suppose he has given this as some 60 degrees. Say, how will you calculate the magnetic field at this point on the axis of this non-ideal solenoid now? Okay, substitute theta 1 as 45 degrees, no doubt. Good, you know that value. Now, but theta 2 is from the axis to this line. But you know, total angle in a straight line is 180 degrees. So 180 minus 60 is how much? 120. So I got theta 2 as 120 now. Then simplify. You will get the magnetic field at this point. So this is an expression to determine the magnetic field on the axis of a solenoid. So next we'll go to now ideal solenoid. So I would just like to revise and take down this. Okay. Okay, what is an ideal solenoid now? See, in NCERT book, he discussed only ideal solenoid. He did not discuss this formula. But in the exams, they may ask questions on this in competitive exams. So, ideal solenoid I am now discussing. So, an ideal solenoid is one this is the length of the solenoid, right? This is the radius of the solenoid, right? This is the radius of a solenoid. This is the length. So the length must be large compared to the radius. So the first condition is length must be very large compared to the radius of a solenoid. That is one reason. Next, second point, second condition. Outside the solenoid, the magnetic field is taken as 0. Magnetic field is present only inside the solenoid. Outside it is taken as 0. So outside the solenoid, magnetic field is 0. Only inside it is present. And third condition, N is very large. What is N? Number of turns per unit length. That is in a unit length. In a unit length, how many turns are there? That is called N. That means you should have so many turns. Number of turns must be large. That is next very, very important condition is that the magnetic field inside this ideal solenoid is uniform. It is a uniform magnetic field. E is existing in this region. That means every point here, the magnetic field is same, both in magnitude and direction. Whereas in this solenoid, this point B, position of this point you are changing, then this theta 1, theta 2 will change. The magnetic field will change on the axis. But here the magnetic field on the axis remains constant. A uniform magnetic field is existing along the axis of a solenoid. So uniform magnetic field is existing. So combining all these conditions, which is known as an ideal solenoid. Now let me explain you why this B is 0 here. First point. See, I can explain in a simple manner. See, if this is a line of force, the magnetic lines of force will form a closed loop somehow, always. So I will take a shorter diagram to make explain you. You have a solenoid like this. Let us say solenoid you are having like this. See, the magnetic field I said here it is uniform. Am I right? Always magnetic field will form a closed loop somehow. So it will form a loop like this. You take another line of force. It will come like this. You will take another line of force. It comes like this. You take another line of force. It comes like this. Still it will go like this. It will go like this. The magnetic lines of force are dispersed and their density is very less. They are far. So the magnetic field here is negligible in this region. Magnetic field in this region is negligible. So you can explain in that manner. And one more point you have to, the magnetic field on the axis now I would like to calculate using this formula now. Finally, I have to calculate the magnetic field now. We have only learned what is an ideal solenoid, but I have to calculate the magnetic field on the axis of the ideal solenoid also. So let me see how to apply this formula. So to apply this formula, I want a magnetic field on the axis of the solenoid. Fine. I want a magnetic field on the axis of the solenoid. Anywhere. Here or here or here or here. Okay. So what I do, let us say I want to calculate a magnetic field at this point, let us say. So join a line to this end. Like this. Observe this angle, all of you, theta 1. See, this R is smaller, length is larger. So let me increase little bit length also. Let me decrease this R also, R. Then if that is the case, what happens? It comes closer to the 0. R is decreased, length is increased. For example, I am telling. So then theta 1 can be taken as 0 degrees. So join a line to the other end of the solenoid. This is other end. So what is theta 2? I have to measure this angle, theta 2. So this angle is negligible, I am telling again. Why it is negligible? Means radius is smaller. So this is becoming smaller here. That means if this comes closer like this angle is negligible. You can increase little bit length also like this if you want. So radius is becoming smaller, the length is increasing, means this angle will become negligible. Then this angle can be taken as 180 degrees. Then theta 2 can be taken as 180 degrees. Then what happens to the magnetic field on the solenoid now? Axis of a solenoid. So if I take, so magnetic field formula which we derived is mu naught ni by 2 bracket cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. So theta 2 is 180 minus theta 1 is taken as nearly 0. Therefore, the magnetic field on the axis of a solenoid, so mu naught ni by 2, this is minus 1, this is again minus 1. This is nothing but mu naught ni by 2 into minus 2. Therefore, the magnetic field which is equal to mu naught ni, neglecting minus sign. Minus sign is indicating the direction of magnetic field. Say I have taken a turns like this. Current is flowing like this. If I take current like this, then it will become positive. So nothing to worry about minus. That minus is indicating for the direction of the field only. But magnitude of the field is mu naught ni. So remember, this is very, very important formula. Magnetic field on the axis of ideal solenoid is mu naught ni. But here one more point is there to discuss. If you come to the edge of this solenoid, what happens? Edge. You want to calculate the magnetic field at the edge of the solenoid. See, if I am taking at the edge, so this is an axis, fine. So here I want to calculate the magnetic field. So then I have to calculate theta 1 and theta 2 and substitute in that formula. So let us calculate first. Join a line to one end. Oh my God, this is becoming closer to 0. Join a line to other end. Yeah, I joined. And this angle is called theta 2. Theta 2 is 90 degrees. If you want to calculate the magnetic field at the edge of the ideal solenoid, then theta 1, theta 2 values are known to you now. So let me substitute in this formula now in the place of theta 1 and theta 2. So cos theta 2, cos 90, cos theta 1, cos 0. Right. So the magnetic field here is equal to mu naught ni by 2. Cos 90 is 0, this is minus 1. This is minus mu naught ni by 2. Neglecting minus sign, it is mu naught ni by 2. So at the edge of the solenoid, it is mu naught ni by 2. But other than the edges, in the middle, the field is always mu naught ni only. It is uniform field, no, I already told you. So its uniform field is existing. So how will I draw this diagram of the field here? See, it will be like this. This is a solenoid. So the magnetic field here inside the solenoid will be a uniform magnetic field will be existing here. Like this, like this, like this. A uniform magnetic field is existing inside the solenoid. And this magnetic field here will be equal to mu naught ni, where n is the number of turns per unit length. Now when you come to the edges, so the magnetic field now will become like this little bit. So here at the edge, it will be mu naught ni by 2, and here also it is mu naught ni by 2. So remember this clearly. You can directly apply these formulas also if it is required in the problems. This is about ideal solenoid. So till here we have discussed about ideal solenoid now. But I used this formula. I said that this formula is not there in the NCERT book. He derived this formula mu naught ni using Ampere circuit law. That is there in the syllabus. So we will, using Ampere circuit law, now we will determine the same formula mu naught ni, the magnetic field on the axis of a solenoid. Okay. So for an ideal solenoid, using Ampere circuit law, we will be deriving an expression, the magnetic field on the axis, which I have already and mu naught ni will derive. So you have to recollect Ampere circuit law. I have done already Ampere circuit law in the previous lectures. You must have an idea about that. Then only we can understand this, right? So in order to apply Ampere circuit law, there will be a current carrying conductor. There will be a loop around this. That is called Ampere's loop. Hmm? So you will say integral B dot dl is equal to mu naught times the current inside the loop. I can have more than one conductor also. But you have to imagine one loop around it. Let the length of the loop is L. Then the magnetic field due to the circular conductors on the loop is B, say for example at point. So you take an elemental length dl there. So integral B dot dl is equal to mu naught times the current inside the loop. That is the Ampere circuit law. So I will take 1 Ampere's loop now. I have to imagine 1 Ampere's loop around the current carrying conductors. So I will take 1 Ampere's loop here now, like this. This is a square loop, Amma. And I already told magnetic field on the axis will be directed like this. See, current is coming like this. So magnetic field will be in this direction on the axis of a solenoid, and it is a uniform field will be existing in this region. Suppose I would like to determine a magnetic field at this point B. Anywhere it is uniform, I said no. So at that point I want to calculate a magnetic field. Let it be. So for example, I have to give a direction of a loop. So loop direction can be given like this. So this is the direction of loop. Okay. Right. So what is Ampere circuit law now? So according to Ampere circuit law, the closed integral B dot dl is equal to mu naught times the current inside. What is this B dot dl closed integral means? See, this dl means the length of the loop. On the length of the loop is considering the elemental length. And magnetic field at this point, magnetic field. Integral of that magnetic field into dl is mu naught times the current inside the loop. Okay. Okay. So there is some power loss. Due to that, the video is paused. So we are determining the magnetic field on the axis of an ideal solenoid. I am considering this loop. Let me name this as ABCD. ABCD is a Ampere's loop. So this is closed loop. The magnetic field B bar into dl is equal to mu naught Ni. So this is integral. I'll split AB, BC, CD, DA. Okay. AB B bar dot dl plus then I'll take BC integral BC B dot dl, then I'll take CD integral B dot dl plus then I'll take dA B dot dl, and that is equal to mu naught times the current inside. So this ABCD is split into AB, BC, CD and DA. So let us say, what is this integral B dot dl along the line AB? So this is a line AB. Anyhow, outside magnetic field is 0. So because the magnetic field is 0 here, then B dot dl will become 0 in this region. Now coming to this bottom part. Do you know, Amma, this is a magnetic field direction. And I have taken a loop like this. Okay, this is the length direction. So the magnetic field and length are perpendicular to each other. So anyhow, even inside and outside, B dot dl has to become 0 only. Let us consider BC now. This is BC. Very clearly, everywhere the magnetic field here is 0. So integral B dot dl has to become 0 only, because B is 0 means over. Now let us come to CD now. This is CD. See, anyhow in this region magnetic field is not there. B dot dl in this region becomes a 0. But coming to the inner part, the magnetic field is always along the axis, no? So this is the direction of magnetic field and this is the direction of length. So again theta becomes 90. B dot dl is B into dl into cos 90. So that is why, and this also becomes a 0. As in the previous case also, this is the direction of magnetic field and this is the direction of length. If theta is 90, B dot dl is B into dl into cos 90 becomes 0. So only this will be left out for me now. So this dA. So integral B dTL here I have no, that is why the reason. 1 minute. So this what happens now, B dot dl dA. So the magnetic field B into dl into cos A bar dot B bar is AB cos theta, no? See, this is the direction of magnetic field. This is the direction of magnetic field. And I have taken a loop like this, for example, loop. Then this will be the direction of length. Because if we consider an elemental length here, this will be the direction of the length. So let me take, this is the direction of magnetic field and this is the direction of this. So this is 180 degrees, cos 180 I will take. That is equal to mu naught times I inside. So this is nothing but B into the magnetic field everywhere here is same and constant. And this dl integration is length into cos 180 is equal to mu naught. The current inside means this, consider I have to consider this total current, and current in each turn is I. But there are so many turns here, isn't it? So how do I get now current inside? The number of turns per unit length into current in each turn. I have done in the starting of derivation. So what happens now in this case? So this L is getting cancelled. I said that you can omit the minus sign, because if I take a loop like this, I got this minus sign. If I take a loop like this, then I won't get that minus sign. So therefore the magnetic field on the, inside the ideal solenoid is mu naught Ni. So this proof is there using Ampere circuit law. It is there in your book, in NCERT book. This is important for you. Now there is one more question asked in this. What does that mean? Suppose here some material is filled. Some material is filled. If material is filled, because it was a free space, you have written a mu naught. If material is filled, you have to write a mu then. So then magnetic field will become B is equal to mu into Ni it becomes, if it is not a free space inside this. And generally they gave relative permeability. So relative permeability is nothing but mu by mu naught. Permeability of this medium divided by permeability of the free space. Therefore this mu can be written as mu r into mu naught. So then this formula becomes B is equal to mu r mu naught Ni. So if some material is given, the relative permeability of that material is given, then the magnetic field on the axis, inside the ideal solenoid, can be calculated by using this relation. I hope you followed. So this is important information for solving problems also.